AITA for wanting a cash bar at our wedding.
Yo,
oh, God.
this
Sarah
one is
shared
so
this to me.
awesome. Let's go.
We got mad about it.
Yes.
Okay, so me, F25, and my fiance, M24, are getting married next year. And like many people our age, we are pretty grossed out by the wedding industry. Amen to that. And are trying to keep our wedding as cheap as possible. So, for example, we're having the ceremony and reception at my uncle's farm, free of charge, out in the country. My good friend from college who owns a catering business agreed to do our catering for free as a wedding gift, and my fiance is good friends with a band that will play at our wedding for free, also as a wedding gift. We got my dress and his suit from Goodwill and got them altered. Everything said and done, we will be paying less than $2,000 for our wedding. Hallelujah. Now we get to the alcohol. We're having a semi-big wedding, 150 people. We have a ton of friends and family coming from all over. And the idea of paying for all of that booze is making us stress out. It'd be at least $1,000. We thought about it and decided to do a cash bar. We figured out we could buy that booze and pay one of my cousins to be bartender for the night. And we realized we could possibly recoup some of our costs on the other wedding expenses by charging moderate prices for drinks. Win-win. We were set on this idea until I brought it up with one of my bridesmaids and she flipped out and said that would be incredibly tacky. I was sort of taken aback by this. I've looked online and cash bars at weddings are pretty common. It seems ridiculous to pay to get everyone drunk. My other friends and family seem pretty split, and I'm starting to wonder if this is actually a faux pas. AITA.
This made me so angry that I actually wrote an article on Betches about this.
Are you serious? Oh, that's funny. You
so
didn't
we
send it to me.
we started a segment anyway called Crazy Wedding Story of the Week, and I was like, oh, do I have a crazy wedding story of the week?
Yeah, this is madness.
So at first I was like, oh, wanting a cash bar, like it's a little annoying, but no. And then you read it and you're like, oh my God. And there's so much. I mean, obviously you nailed it. The part about trying to recoup some of the costs. But then I reread the little details and I'm like, you guys are getting married next year and you can't even like try to put away $1,000, which is a gross overestimation anyway. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, are you kidding me? They've spent $3,000 total. This is probably the cheapest wedding I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
this is unreal.
Well, also I think it's kind of I don't love it because it's like, yeah, you're saving a ton on your wedding by forcing your friends and family to work your wedding. It's kind of not nice.
Depending on how that happened, I'm not going to fault them for that. I give them huge props, and I agree, by the way, that and a lot of the weddings I've been to this year were people who could definitely afford a really expensive wedding. But, my heart goes out to people who can't and then want to and like don't do stuff like this because I really think it's a damn shame if you're spending even $30,000 on a wedding.
Yeah.
Which is about the average wedding. And,
yes.
That's money you could spend so much better. So, like, I'm all about this kind of, feeling it out. And you might feel a little cheap at times. Like, hey, can your band play? But, like,
yeah.
I applaud all of that. But when we get to profiting off your guests, that's where I find things a little gross.
Super gross. Also, the thing is, if you guys want to save money on your wedding, don't invite 150 people. Like, that's the quickest way to cut costs.
Yeah, that's a good way to cut costs. I mean, I just look, I think, God, they've spent so little to begin with. What's another $1,000 here on booze?
And they have until next year.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you can put that away.
Yeah, save 10 pounds a week.
Yeah, we know this.
Convert it to real money later.
Also, yeah, you don't have to spend that much money on booze.
Yeah, I mean, I think $1,000 for 150 people is definitely in the ballpark. I don't think that's a wild overestimation, but I want to contend.
But you can get away with spending less or just having BYOB.
Have you added it up? BYOB, I think that's chintzy. I think you got to have free booze at a wedding.
That's way fucking better than making a profit off your guests.
I think that's tacky too. Look,
it's better. It's better.
Oh, it is better, yes.
Because one is like you're just exploiting your guests. The other one is like you're like, hey, we don't want to provide this for you, but if you guys want to, bring it yourself.
I mean, I don't like either one, but yes, that is better. I want to contend with something they said that cash bars are common at weddings. I agree with this. However, there's some nuance. I feel like every wedding I've ever been to has free alcohol, usually until some cutoff time, like a 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. And then there's a cash bar for people who want to keep on going.
Yeah. So there's a number of ways you can do it. I've seen like free wine and beer. You pay for liquor. The real key with the cash bar is like, that applies to a venue when you are purchasing a liquor package. It does not apply. You cannot just like have a cash bar when you're at your free uncle's barn and you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
like that's not where cash bars are common.
Right. Right.
So that was like the big thing. I was like, yeah, technically you're right, but also like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could be a way around that. I mean, I like what you said. I think that's a pretty reasonable negotiation.
Yeah.
Wine and beer for free. You get $1,000 of wine and beer.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I think a keg is like
a keg is
couple
$70.
Yeah, it's like not that much.
Yeah, it's not.
And you get $30 back when you return the keg.
Yeah, it's not that expensive. Darian S writes, the fact that you're doing it just to recoup some other costs is tacky. You're a cheap asshole. You've only spent $2,000 on a wedding.
Yep.
Gotta agree with that. Darren R says, NTA for covering alcohol costs, YTA for going beyond that to make a profit to pay for other expenses.
Yeah, I guess
I
some
don't
people were saying
know.
like if they just did it to break even, that would be fair. But then at that point, again, why not just make it BYOB?
I think that's a little gross. I think, look, you're supposed to spend some fucking money on your wedding. It's supposed to be a party. It's supposed to be a good party. It's not supposed to be a break even kind of venture.
And the other thing is you're going to make a ton of money off those gifts. Like you are going to get a ton of gifts. And so unless you're giving that shit back, like you cannot charge and make a profit off of alcohol.
I guess, but like even so, it's like, God damn it. Like, don't you want all these people to have a good time?
Yeah, like apparently it's funny because they say they're grossed out by the wedding industry, but I'm like,
you
guys are
the wedding industry.
you guys are being gross.
You guys are so gross.
Yeah.
I think, look, viewing, I get that a wedding has financial benefits. And like I said, I'm appalled at what people spend and but it's like people like, there does come a limit here. Like spend a little bit. It's supposed to be a one-time event that's the most important event in your life, and you're going to chintz out over $1,000 I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. The other thing was I loved that she said it was a win-win, but I'm like, it's a win for you, but how is it a win for them?
I would judge I mean, I don't drink, so I would actually laugh if someone did this. I'd be like, you fucking suckers.
Yeah.
But IVS writes, YTA, you're throwing a glorified party. Be a good host. That's perfectly put. She writes, I spent $400 on booze for my wedding at Costco and had tons left over.
See,
so there you go. I mean, that's spot on. Top Reddit comment went to bisexual squirrel. YTA, it would be a different thing if you were to just sell the drinks at the price you bought them for and break even, which is still a little tacky. But instead, you're charging your friends and family more than the drink is worth in order to make a profit.
Yeah, and also as people commented on the Reddit post when I like covered in the article, they're like, it's also just as tacky to charge the drinks at cost because like a bottle of wine, let's say, is like probably $7 if you're buying it wholesale. So what are you going to charge per glass? Like 50? Yeah, like $1.50. That's even like more insulting somehow than just charging a normal price.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Just spend $1,000.
And what are you going to do? Get a POS system? Like, how are you going to do this? Like, your cousin's going to be bartending. He's also, like, I don't understand. You're buying a cash register? What's happening here? Everyone's going to Venmo you for the drinks?
That's
Fuck
very
that.
Funny. Yeah, and then there's no food, I guess. Or no, the catering is the food.
Yeah, people had a lot to say about the catering, too, because they're like, catering for 150 people is like, your friend saved you probably $6,000.
Yeah,
the least you could do is get some fucking booze for people.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like I think the premise of a wedding is that you're kind of giving a lot, like you're giving an expensive gift, but you're getting a lot too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's part of it. Well, I think we agree here. AITA for wanting a cash bar at our wedding. For this kind of freaky cash bar, we agree.
YTA.
All right, it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, listener submissions.
Woo.
Would I be the asshole?
You didn't do
the song. Well, there'll be a song that I'll add in post, Sarah.
Okay, cool.
Where I'll probably edit out that whole fake situation you threw in there. God damn it.
Hey.
Would I be the asshole if I don't pay a clean out / damage fee over a year after moving out?
I love people.
Title is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll elaborate on some details. I lived in a house for 1.5 years until just over a year ago when I moved states for school. There was never a lease. I lived there with another tenant, the landlord, and her spouse. She's only a couple of years older than I. I'm 29, female. It wasn't the greatest environment due to her very passive-aggressive nature at times, and her new husband's constant screaming matches, but it was what I could afford. Anyhow, I had to move out while she was out of town for a couple days. I will admit that especially in the last few months I was there, I wasn't the most pleasant to her. I actively avoided her. I'm also a bit messy by nature. I also had a small dog, which she allowed. We had a falling out just before she left, and after I moved, we never spoke. However, yesterday I got a Venmo charge for $300 in clean-out fees and a text saying she needed to charge me for damages and cleaning she had to do. The damage was due to 3 nail holes in the wall for the bookcase. It was assembled for me, and I didn't realize they did that till it was done, but still. I know I didn't deep clean or anything, but the room was fairly clean upon leaving. Now, if she had been present during my move out or had her husband inspect then, he was home and charged me, or even told me of this shortly after her return, I would have accepted the fee. However, it's been over a year. She lives there. I think it's ridiculous to charge us now. If she really wanted it, she should have done this a year ago. Additionally, due to rumors and also how things were when I lived there, I suspect she's broke and possibly getting divorced and is trying to get cash where she can. I haven't responded yet. I'm trying to block her and the Venmo request and not pay. Would I be the asshole if I do this?
It's so funny to me because, like, it took me a long time as an adult to realize, like, when people ask you for something that's kind of ridiculous, but you're afraid of the consequences, but you can just not do it. Like, there is no reason that this girl has to do this. This is completely absurd.
Yeah, well, I thought what you were going to say is the best way to respond is to just not respond. Don't say
just
no.
decline the Venmo request.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even leave it there. I would let her know. I'm like, this is totally out of bounds, and no.
Don S. agrees. He writes NTA, just deny the request. She's come up short recently. I thought she might be able to squeeze you with guilt. Myrna F. says NTA, I think there's usually a law that they have to do this stuff in a certain time period. I think that's all true.
Probably.
I got a story about this. And,
tell me.
You know, because what this is a strange situation where basically someone's asking for money that you might actually owe them, but I don't really think you would technically legally owe them. I think
this is a shakedown to me.
Yeah, they would get rocked, I think, in small claims court or anything, because the time gap is just too long.
It's been
too long.
Year.
Well, so the first story is I was a computer reviewer for a while, and I would get free computers. And the way that works is the companies would send basically a marketing firm the computers, and then the marketing firms would hit up like reviewers like me. So I got like this $2,000 computer, which I sold on Craigslist like as soon as I reviewed it.
Love it.
And anyway, so I stopped doing that job because it was horrible. There's only so many things you can say about computers. And I got this message one day saying like, hey, we're Asus or Asus. I don't know how you say it. ASUS.
Asus, I thought.
Asus.
I don't know.
We're Asus.
Asus, I like.
And you fucking owe us for a laptop that cost $2,000, a projector, which I actually had never gotten, and some other thing. It was like $3,000 worth of stuff. And this is when I was unemployed. So this is like a terrifying email. And my girlfriend goes, that is a form letter that is probably sent by default. They probably have an Excel spreadsheet. They have your name in it. And then they automatically send everyone this email hoping they can get some of that stuff back.
That's fucked up.
She goes, don't respond. And I'll bet you nothing will happen. And sure enough, I didn't respond. And that was the last I ever heard of that.
Yeah, that's amazing. This kind of reminds me of like, it's not the same, but basically like I was moving out of my apartment in Atlanta. I was having a really hard time finding someone to take over my lease because our rent was reasonable, but my roommate decided to lock us into like a 3-year Comcast contract that our first year was very reasonable.
Oh, no.
And the second year was, I'm not even kidding you, $240 a month.
That's insane.
Yeah. So like to ask people in Atlanta to be like, hey, will you pay for this $900, including utilities per month apartment? Like most people were like, no.
Yeah.
So I was like stressing out. I'm like calling my dad. I'm freaking out because like I'm moving to New York. Like this is done. And he's like, just go and just don't pay the rent. And I was like blubbering, you know, I'm like, no, like it'll ruin my credit. Like blah, blah. He's like, let her take you to court. And I was like, no, oh my God, I can't do that. And like I eventually found someone. So it worked out fine. But like realistically, I could have just done that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. On the other side of this coin, we have when the landlord is being a fuckface. So when I left my place, I felt kind of bad doing this because I knew it was going to be a serious headache for this person. But I was like, hey, you can just give me the security deposit.
Oh, and then you dole it out.
Exactly. Well, I was like, you just give me the security deposit and then you'll get to live here. And that way I had my security deposit
and then the
back.
landlord gives it back to them.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fair. That happens all the time.
Exactly. But of course, I knew it would be a nightmare to get it back from this guy.
Ooh, I
it
love
took
that.
over a year. and he had sent dozens of emails, and the guy was just like non-responsive.
You take them to court, they have 30 days after you move out.
And that's what he finally said. He said, "Look, I'm gonna have to involve the law. Like if you don't do something, I'd hate to have to take this to small claims court." And he got the money like that week. So it's like sometimes you just have to like get at these people.
I love what you did. I don't think that's bad. I think that's smart. And that happens all the time. If someone's taking over like a lease, then you just kind of like exchange the security deposit.
Yeah, I just felt bad because I was like, and then he'll give you the money back. But in the back of my head, I was like,
he won't.
I know Michael is not going to give that money back.
Kind of sucks, but hey, man, you got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you got to do. Bottom line, would I be the asshole if I don't pay a clean out damage fee over a year after moving out? God, we agree.
Not the asshole. I would say you would be the asshole if you paid this.
Yeah, seriously, don't encourage these people. Yeah. All right, well, we're just going to wrap up on some, Sarah's put together some guess the verdicts here.
I have. Is it one-sided? This is fun.
This is one-sided.
Okay, yeah. Stump Danny. Okay.
Here we go.
Am I the asshole for not wanting my girlfriend to wear the tightest clothes possible to the gym?
It's a little controlling, but maybe they're like real. I don't know. I'm going to say, am I the asshole for not?
For not wanting her to wear this stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say YTA, yeah.
I definitely thought that too. And I don't agree with this verdict. So here's the situation. The guy's girlfriend wears tight clothes to the gym. He claims it's so tight you can clearly see the outline of her vulva. And
Jesus.
Yeah, it seems extreme.
Vulva.
He also claims the clothes are so small that they spend 4 minutes getting on, which is a pretty quick amount of time to get dressed if you ask me. Apparently they've talked about it, and she just said he's being controlling and insecure. Top comment, I'm going with no assholes here. This is not an asshole issue. This is a compatibility issue. She likes the attention. You dislike her having the attention. So that was kind of their comment. Frankly, and everyone was calling him not the asshole, and I'm like, I just didn't agree with it. Maybe we could cover it on an episode, because I felt like they all just assumed that she did this for attention when he never said that he sat her down and was like, why are you doing this? I'm also like, if I wear yoga pants, no matter how tight they are, like if they fit, I could get a camel toe. That doesn't mean I want guys to look at my vulva. I just thought he was being like...
Does any woman want that? I don't think vulvas are... It's kind of a paradox of the pussy. Everybody wants the pussy, but nobody really wants to see the pussy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about dicks, so we agree.
Oh, do you?
I mean... Yeah, dicks kind of look... Genitals look weird in general. Like, they're not...
I don't know. I'm going to have to come back at you on that. I feel like pussy pics are not a thing.
I can tell you, like, for a objective fact, that's false. YG even has a song about it. It's
pussy pics.
No, it's called Down in the DMs, but it has a line that's like, Snapchat me that pussy.
I mean, I'm not saying no one's ever sent one, Sarah, but compared to dick pics, which we hear about all day.
That's because, like, men are... What's the word? I don't know. Don't respect people's boundaries and like to send it unsolicited.
I mean,
men,
I can hear that.
I don't think as many women are sending unsolicited pussy pics, but I definitely think they're sending pussy pics.
Yeah. Well, but
I don't want someone like staring at my crotch when I'm at the gym. Like, I just truly doubt everything that this dude said, and I'm like disappointed that nobody on Reddit challenged him on it at all.
I mean, and I don't want any ladies to be mad at me. I love a good pussy pic. I mean, but I guess
no, he doesn't.
I don't love. I don't agree with what you said, though.
What?
I mean, well, I do agree with it because you said we're not sure if she's doing it for attention. So what if she's doing it for attention? I mean, is that the whole premise of wearing clothes to begin with? I would wear a fucking wife beater and sweatpants all day, but they tell me that I have to look a certain way out there. That's the rules.
I guess you're kind of right.
You know, and if you want a little bit of attention because you're a hot girl, I say if you got it, flaunt it. If you want to, I'm not mandating it, but I'm saying it is an advantage. I have a friend, and I like to tell the story because I think she's smart. She's like, men are pigs, and I'm gonna get big fake boobs, and I think she would tell you that it helped a lot in her career. You know?
Noted. I could probably get someone to give me a free boob job. Okay, we'll talk about this later.
I am not suggesting that you do this at all, Sarah.
You're totally right. Also, not at my company. This would not do anything
at
for
a
me.
Woman company. Maybe you should get a giant fake dick installed.
Honestly,
maybe that would.
Why don't I just like bring a hot guy to the office next to me all day? Right. That will help me out.
Or just like, I think we're going to make Sarah the CEO. Why? Oh, well, she has a huge cock now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's... Anyway.
No, I truly felt like this guy was exaggerating. I'm like, in my head, she probably wears yoga pants and or bike shorts. And he's like, you can see her vagina, you know?
I mean, I don't understand these like men who are so easily threatened. It's like, look, if you're like, what? Is she going to cheat on you? Then she's going to cheat on you.
Yeah, you're right. No matter what she's wearing.
Yeah.
All right. It'd be like that sometimes. Am I the asshole for calling my girlfriend profanities so she stops using profanities around our daughter?
That's kind of a weird way to go at it, but I'm gonna say not the asshole.
Ooh, it was a clear everyone sucks. Here's the deal. They have a 4-year-old daughter. The girlfriend won't stop using profanities around her. And when he's like, can you not do that? She doesn't care. She says, quote, they're just fucking words, unquote.
Deep.
Yeah, real deep. So now the daughter is using these words in class. She's getting a bad reputation. Nobody wants to have play dates with her. The school is upset.
Yeah.
So the boyfriend genius idea is to turn it back around on the mom and call her profanities and say they're just fucking words when she objects. So now the daughter is calling the mom bad words.
Oh, that's terrible.
So bad. I think everyone sucks here doesn't even like, I don't know. It doesn't even describe it because it's like you guys are all fucking up majorly.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between like, I went to the fucking store earlier and your mother is a slut.
Exactly.
Like, that's a pretty big gap.
Yeah, exactly. So the top comment was, everyone sucks here. You've taught your daughter to call her mother profane names in order to teach everyone that cursing is not a desirable habit.
Yeah, this guy sounds like an idiot.
Yeah, this guy, like, I mean, I understand he's at the end of his rope, but yeah, there really is a difference between like, ah, shit, and like, you whore, you bitch.
Right.
It's like, yo, it's so bad. And this poor kid is going to grow up with like, is going to have no friends.
Yeah.
If they don't do something.
I do think that curse words are, they should be used very, very sparingly in an ideal way. Around kids, I think that goes without saying because, they're bad words. But, I mean, they're not bad words, but they can hurt people. But
it's also just not a good look when you're 4 years old to have a potty mouth. Like, if you say it one time, it's funny. But then, like, if you actually are just cursing like a sailor for no reason and you can't even read yet, like... Can 4-year-olds can't read, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And I'm like, yo, this is just not a good look.
But I guess I think with comedy, I don't know. A lot of comics have said, or there's a Jim Gaffigan quote I like. He goes, because he doesn't curse very much, if at all. But he notices that when he doesn't curse at all, people notice it and they're very appreciative.
Okay.
I think it bothers some people. There's people out there. And I think also it does, it just is kind of an attention to detail to not let it slip out. I mean, to me, fuck is like, like I'll just be like, oh.
You're like, shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's lazy. Yeah. It's lazy language, just like and And,
it totally is. I curse a lot. So whatever.
Yeah.
So fuck it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Beep. I start censoring. Actually, I used to censor the pod, and then that just took so much time. I used to censor
But it has a curse in the name. You can't censor it. That makes no sense.
But it's censored in the name. Well,
yeah,
that's
we call it
iTunes.
MI the A. Yeah, exactly. Because wasn't there... I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I don't know what this guy should have done. Because, like, he has a serious problem with the girlfriend if she's just undermining him.
Yeah, honey.
And teaching the daughter bad habits.
Yeah, I mean, he should have just had, hey, honey, it's serious because our daughter's 4 and she's,
she's 4, Isabel. I don't know why her name is Isabel.
She called someone a cocksucker at school.
Oh, my God.
So that's not nice.
Yeah, that's bad. Whew.
Well, that's the show, everyone, unless Sarah wants to add anything.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Keep her in your prayers. Check out all our links at aitapod.com. Please submit to our Patreon. Subscribe to our Patreon. We threw up a great bonus up on Thursday. And that's it.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next Monday morning.